Laura Gray, and I teach at Great Path Academy. I teach music, but I also teach other things sometimes, like capstone or college and career success, as we're going to be talking about today.
Hi, and I'm Jen Sherman, and I used to teach at Great Path Academy, but I am a professor at CT State Manchester, which is on the same campus, but I taught college and career success at the high school, and I teach it at CT State Manchester at the post-secondary level.
Yeah. So, part of the reason that we were so interested in Defined is because we were designing this college and career success course. And part of our goal was to align this with the college so students can receive college credit while they're in our class in high school, which is awesome. And so as we were going along, we discovered that there were a lot of tools that from Defined that we could use for all kinds of different things. And the one that we want to focus on today is the virtual internships.
Yes, and one of the things I would love to point out is that it was a free resource for us, and I think like teaching in an urban district, a free resource is kind of the best resource. So
Yeah.
we were really lucky to find out that Connecticut had purchased it, and so we were able to utilize it for all of our students. And what I really liked about the virtual internships is that we were able to just kind of make it its own thing for each of our students, and they really could do their student-centered activity.
Yeah, that was really a big selling point for us because even though we are a college that is, or a high school that's on a college campus, the whole point of that is that students can take college classes while they're in high school, and we pay for that. But not that doesn't mean that all of our students are actually college bound. A lot of them want to go into all kinds of different professions, and some of them require four-year college, and some of them don't. So it was really one of our goals to make sure that we appeal to all of our students, not just the students who were trying to take advantage of the college courses here. And so it was really helpful to have virtual internships that reflected all of their different student interests.
I mean, plumbers are important people in our world,
Let me tell
right? I
you,
called an HVAC guy this morning. So, and I think it was also really important that we could, we have a lot of English language learners, and so we could translate the materials easily. They could translate the materials themselves. That was really easy in all different languages. And then if our students needed accommodations or they needed to like self-regulate themselves, or the special education teachers wanted to get involved, it was so seamless and easy to make that happen that we all know that as teachers, we have enough to prep for. And so it was really nice that we could just kind of,
for real, and they could absolutely choose the things that they were interested in. They could kind of self-level, and that reduced, the need all around for other adults to have to make adjustments for them while allowing them to have a variety of experiences. So that was really great.
yeah, there was no other way that we could duplicate this experience for them. I mean, they had exposure to careers that I think that they didn't even realize were a career, right? And that's half of it, right? You don't know what you don't
Absolutely.
know. And I think that they learned so much from this that they didn't really get, like all those soft skills that
Hmm.
we've been trying to hone into them, for years. And this kind of naturally did that for them. I mean, they were able to problem solve. The fact that they could work independently, time management, which I think is a skill all of us could get better at,
Such a
right?
lesson. Such a lesson.
Because even though we gave them a schedule, they had to manage their own time to get things done. And they really did a great job. And we would do check-ins to kind of help them. But, these soft skills are such a huge deal for them, especially, 10th grade is kind of like the crunch year where you have to get it together. And then, working for an end goal and then having like a
Yeah.
public product at the end was so important.
I loved that they had the opportunity to kind of have a client that they're working for, because that's how it is in the real world. You're not just making work that you want to make and then hoping that it's successful for someone else. Like you're working for somebody else's goals for some client. And so that was a really helpful lesson for our students to have to meet the goal that somebody else is setting for them. And I think that also made it pretty memorable. We held these presentations at the end of the semester, and every student had to speak to kind of what they had learned over the whole course of the course, I guess. And yeah, and it was really interesting to see the things that they selected as their most important takeaways from the overall course, and all of them chose to showcase their internship, which was really interesting. And so there were a variety of things to notice. So when they were presenting for each other, it was really interesting for all of the students in the room. They weren't presenting all the same thing, even though they were presenting all the same thing, because they had all done these different internships. So they continued to kind of pick up things from watching each other, describe their experience. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think it also fostered a little bit of community in the classroom that
Mm,
you don't always see.
for sure.
And that was really great. And then, one of the memorable things for me is at the end when they were presenting, when we had those community partners come in and we had, parents and caregivers come in, they were so excited for them to have like an authentic learning experience that they could be proud of. That, I mean, I remember the parents were coming up to us and community partner, like the people from the college, they were just so excited to be able to see such a variety of students, right? Not just our A+ students, right?
Right.
We know that the high achievers are always going to be the high achievers, but it was
Right.
also nice to kind of see the underdog kind of have a win that
Yeah,
day.
absolutely. Yeah, they were really thriving with that. And it was really great that not only did they have a variety of experiences, but they have a variety of future goals. And so they were all speaking to what their future goals are. And that was really fun to see too, because as teachers, we know what we know, right? So we don't have a whole lot of experience in, like, I don't know, actuarial science or something, right? So, and there would be students that go up there and present something like, wow, that's actually pretty awesome. Like, I learned something today.
Yeah.
So that was really, really great. And we were able also to connect some of these students with real life summer paid internships in the community as a result. So they were able to take, what they had learned in our course using the learning from Defined, and then be able to say, like, well, I have some experience designing, social media advertisement for companies or something. And now they're doing an internship with a local community organization, which is really, a direct impact from what we've done.
Yeah, I think having them be able to get their feet wet prior to committing to something was huge, right? It sets them up for success because, we all know that we've had those jobs where we know like this is not for me, right? Um, and so I think it's kind of good that you get to get your feet wet and then say
Hmm.
like, oh, yay or nay, because part of it is learning what you don't want to do, right?
Right.
And so giving them that exposure early on is really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I think that when we, send this video in for Defined, I think we're going to include maybe a couple of work samples. I remember there were a couple of students who did, like, it was something in health sciences, but it was around dietary, like different, there was like a paleo diet and Mediterranean diet or something.
Keto.
Yes, that's what it was. And there were some really good, like, infographics that were made that would be really helpful for people in the real world, that are interested, in a healthier lifestyle or whatever. Sorry, I don't know why I have an alarm going off at 9:15 randomly, but okay. Yeah, so there were a few things like that. I remember that we had a few prosthetic hands, kids that had made the prosthetic hands. That was really
Yeah, we
interesting.
got a few lesson plans from elementary school teachers. So
Yes.
that was exciting. They're like,
Yes.
how do I capture their attention for 45 minutes? I'm like, welcome
Preach.
to it.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I think this is really exciting. And I think that next year, so we're teaching the same class in the fall again. And I think that we are going to kind of ramp up how we're using the virtual internships and really try to make some connections from the virtual internships that we're doing directly to some community organizations, like maybe before they finish everything, kind of loop those community members into what we're, leveraging here from Defined, and that might make a nice connection. And I don't know, we'll see.
I love that for them. All right. Well, thanks, Define, for making our job easy this year.
Yes, no kidding. No kidding. Everything's set for next year. We're just gonna tweak a couple of things and we're good to go. Yes. All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Bye.